All right. All right, guys. Welcome to the. Well, actually, we're going to say welcome to two shows. So, welcome to Always Moving Forward, and then also the Verkos Show. Anastasia and I, have been talking for a while, and we decided to do one show from two different countries, from the United States and from Australia. So, we're going to get to know a little bit more about each other. We're going to share a lot about ourselves with you guys, so that you guys kind of get to know who we are and some of the things that we've gone through, and a little bit more about our shows and our vision, our passions, and all the things that we have planned coming up. So yeah, I'm excited about today's show. So thank you for doing this with me, Anastasia.
Oh, thank you so much, Parks. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good to hear. I thank you for agreeing to do this because you wanted to interview me and then I wanted to interview you. And I thought, you know what? Let's combine the shows together and get people to actually know who we really are as talk show hosts. So thank you so much for having me. And before I forget, I would like to thank my friend Fatima for allowing me this space today to record. Thank you, girl. I love you.
Yeah, thank you.
So, sorry?
I was saying thank you to her as well.
Yeah, that's great. So Parks, like your similar mission and purpose is like mine. We've created a talk show to put out in the world. What was behind the show, like you creating your show? What was the feeling, the mission, the purpose?
The reason for me is, I spent a lot of time on social media. And one of the things that was really starting to depress me, actually, I started to walk away and just delete my Facebook account altogether, is just all the negativity that was going on, with everybody being divided over. I mean, there's so many reasons that, they were fighting. Everybody's been fighting on Facebook. If it's, politically, by race, religion, whatever. I mean, it's like every time I turn around, there's, some other box to check that was dividing us. And so, me, I'm a positive person to begin with. That's just me. I'm positive. So I don't like looking at a bunch of stuff that's negative. So I decided to go ahead and create a show that was going to be positive. What I wanted to do is show people that we have more in common as a human race than we have that separates us. And actually, I started bringing people on. I've had several guests on who, on Facebook, we kind of went back and forth, and we had like our differences, with whether politically or whatever. We had our differences, and I kind of found myself getting wrapped up in that whole, negative atmosphere. And I decided that, what, instead of doing that, I want to bring people on that we may have differences, but bring them on and get to know them as a person, get to know their story and their journey. And by doing that, I've met, some of the people I've become friends with on Facebook that I've never met in person. I started meeting in person and getting to know their stories.
Oh, how amazing is that? That's so rewarding. That's so rewarding when you actually get to meet in person.
Right. And, the things that we had, we're going back and forth on Facebook about, whatever it was. When I met them in person, I got to hear their stories. It just gave me a lot more respect, for that person. Once I got to know that person and their, who they are. And I started to realize it really doesn't matter the things that divide us. I mean, the things that divide us are just trivial. Once you get to know somebody, I learned that it's okay to disagree on things and still be friends.
That's true. And it's also, what I realized? That we shouldn't judge anyone either, because people are so quick to judge anyone and everyone.
Right.
I've realized you've got to drop that, because everyone's on a different mission, different purpose. Everyone's going through their own struggles, their things. And this is what we're learning as talk shows too, that like certain people might come on the show and someone might say, oh, you know, so-and-so this or so-and-so that. And then I'm thinking, people got to be less judgmental, because we've gone through so much in our lives too. And I know why I created my show is because I've gone through a lot of struggles in my life, and people out there don't know about it. They just
Right.
think, yeah, she's a talk show host, she produced as a show, she puts it out there. But my mission behind it is, if I could cut down that struggle in someone's life by sharing
Right.
people's truths and how they've come on top of their hurdles and their struggles, and they choose to get on with their life and see the positive in everything, and know that now I can relate why it happened to me. It always turns out for the best, even if it's
Right.
the hardest lesson they've learned. And I thought, if I could make someone's life just that little bit easier, where they don't have to go through as much struggles as I have, and
Right.
give them a platform to speak their truth with no judging,
Right.
that was my mission to bring my show. It's through my pain and my struggles and my hurdles I created the show, and that was done out of love and passion. Like,
Right.
you know, I was just like at a stage in my life when I started my show where I was sick of giving all the time. I was giving and giving and giving so much love, even in relationships.
Right.
And I remember I ended my last relationship and I said, you know what? Enough of giving so much to someone else, give it to myself. So what I did was, a week and a half after I broke off with him, I said, you
Uh-huh.
know what? I'm not going to be like one of these girls that are going to sit and cry over a man. Anastasia, you know what? Do what you love. What is it you love? You love
Right.
inspiring and empowering people. You love doing what you're doing. So what I did was, I went on AFTRS, it's an Australian film academy here on Facebook. I just put a little ad up. Film crew wanted for a fun project starting here in Sydney, Australia, and going global. I don't know what I was doing, but I had so much
Right.
drive and so much passion that I reversed that negativity into what I loved. And then what I did was, in 2 weeks, I had a film crew, I had 4 interviews,
Oh,
and
wow.
not knowing anything about the film industry or
Oh, wow.
interviewing anyone, never been in the industry whatsoever. And I remember showing up that day, and the film crew, which was 2 guys, they set everything up, the lights, everything. And I'll never forget this day in my life. I was waiting for that snapboard. What is that called?
Oh,
That clapboard?
yeah,
Yeah.
the, yeah, yeah.
I was waiting for that. I'm going, all the lights are set up, the guests are on the chair. Where's the clapboard? Like, you know? And
Right.
they're
Right.
going to be, and they're going to stay to relax. This is what we want you to do. We just want you to talk to the guests, do what you have to do. We'll
Right.
edit it, and we'll, yeah. I just didn't know, but I knew that I had a drive and passion, and I knew that I had to do what I had to do to make me happy. And that was where I found my happy place at that moment, you know?
Right. You know,
So, yeah.
I think it's cool because, you took, what could have been, you know,
Yes.
a bad situation, and kind of spiraled down like some people do, after, that losing that relationship. And
Mm.
instead you decided to use that as a positive and come, and not only did it help you, but it was to help other people,
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
and that right there is, kind of why I do what I do, is because I love seeing people take, or hearing stories about people who have taken, tragedies in their
Yeah.
lives and turning those around, and then doing something positive.
Mm.
And then also, you and I talk about this all the time, is that when I set out to do this, I didn't realize how many people out there were kind of doing the same thing or waiting for somebody to do something like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, where they, we're tired of the negativity too, and they want to be able to either share their stories or do kind of what we do. Because I interview other people from that has a their own podcast, who want to do the same thing and inspire other people. And so to
Mm.
me, it's been encouraging to see that, to see so many people out there that's kind of doing what we're doing. Because
Mm.
for me, it's more of this show. For me, I see this as a movement. I
Yes.
want people out there I want this to ignite, there's something inside people. And instead of seeing them fighting all the time over
Yeah.
the trivial things, I want to see people start coming together and
Yeah.
inspiring one another,
Yeah. And
through their journeys.
and that comes through speaking the truth. Like
Right.
like Elizabeth, like I interviewed Elizabeth Gerald, like you did,
Yeah.
and some people
Yes.
said to her, a credible woman. Oh my gosh,
Right.
still to
Amazing.
today, it brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
What she went through. But
Right.
even people said to her, like, aren't you embarrassed to tell them what your daughter, like, she took her own life? And that? No, we can't be. This is what draws us together. This is
Right.
because it happened to her daughter, and all right, she took her life, but at the same time, like, if we don't share this truth, it can happen to anyone, like,
Right.
and by speaking about it, what I've realized is it makes us realize more that we are all one. We all have our trials and tribulations. We all come together, and there's so much pain and so much hurt within us, but if we share and come together, it just brings more love, more unity, more peace, knowing that, what, you know no one knows what goes on behind anyone's life, really. Like, who would think that I've gone through pretty much everything in my life? I beat stage 3 cancer. I've been going through a divorce. I was gone through mental, physical, and sexual abuse. I've gone through a lot in my life, but no one knows.
Right.
And I was homeless for 3.5 months. Like, I've gone through my stuff too, and I've hit rock bottom how many times? So, and I'm still smiling. And by sharing this and speaking openly and honestly, it's just showing people there's light at the end of the tunnel,
Right.
And I just feel like the truth sets you free. The truth
Right.
sets you free. And even like we were talking before, the people that are entering in our lives now and wanting to be on our platform are the most incredible beings on the planet, like,
Yes.
seriously. And
Yes.
the more we're amongst them, it's like the universe is just open a floodgate of light and love and people
Right.
coming together. And this is the time now, especially on earth at this present moment, where it's bringing that peace and unity together. And
Right.
you know what? It's undeniable. You can't ignore it anymore. It's just
Right.
all of us coming together. It's so powerful. And this is what I'm experiencing through my show, because I was off social media for 3.5 years because of my trials and tribulations. And then
Right.
it took a lot for me to come back on in May this year to activate it again. And then through good friends, they go, come on, do your show again, do your show. Because I stopped it in 2017. And then I was off social media and everything. And then I thought, you know what? Is this strength that people give me to do it, to start it up again? And you
Right.
know what? I was ashamed, to be honest. I thought, oh my God, what are people going to say? She stopped her show and all her
Yeah.
following's gone. And, feeding into all that. And then I thought, you know
Right.
what, girl? It is what you love. Just do it. Just do it. You've got a mobile phone. That's not going to stop you. You don't need a film crew. You don't need photographers. You don't need anything. All you need is your phone.
Right.
So,
No, that's
yeah.
true.
So,
I have a question about that. So when you decided, because it's funny that we're from like two different places. You know what I mean? We're from two different countries.
yeah.
We've never met before, and our stories are kind of similar. You know what I mean? Like I was doing before I did this. I was doing um, public access television and internet radio. And then I went to kidney failure and I stopped doing that. And I started, I went to college and got my associate's degree in paralegal studies and my bachelor in criminal justice. And so I started to go that route and leave, I left entertainment. And then recently I decided to come back because this is where, my love and my passion is too.
Your happy place. I call it a happy place.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that moment, so you left, and then you decided to come back. Explain with that moment to me, like what was kind of going through your head, and
Oh,
how did you kind of implement that?
like it was tough because people looked up to me. I did a show
Yeah.
and it was going really well. I started the first show on Facebook. I called it a show.
Right.
I took that big leap of faith to put my name on the line to do that show, but I believed so much in myself, even though I've never been in the industry before. I just thought, you know what? The people that were following me on Facebook, they call me the angel of Facebook because I used to share my thoughts, my feelings on social media, and they just got accustomed to me. Like every single day, they were waiting for that message, how I felt, what I was going through. And that's why I
Right.
started the show, and they call me like the angel of Facebook, and that's where the name, the talk show angel, came from. Everything I do is meaning. It's what even the Verkos Show, when I go V, like the V is peace, victory, Verkos.
Oh, wow.
That's how I come up with the P. The color, the pink, the V is love. Like there's meaning behind everything I do. But
Right.
it's the actual people that were embracing me for who I was. So
Wow.
then when I ended it, it was a big thing for me. It was really, really big because I was in a financial crisis.
Right.
I got down to my last $30. I couldn't produce my show anymore, pay the film crew. So much had happened in my life. And then I got a sort of like a deal overseas saying, you don't have to do your show anymore. We're going to take over. We're going to produce it. And that fell through. And I was devastated, devastated. I thought, I relied on that to get me through. And then I thought, oh my gosh. And so I just didn't have the, how can I say, the passion of it. I was just, didn't have it at all. I just hit rock bottom again in my life.
Right.
So what I did was I was isolated from the world for about 3.5 years. And then all of a sudden I thought, you know what, I've got to get out of this self-pity. I've got to get out of doing everything that I don't want to do.
Right.
So what I did was my first step is activate social media. So I went back on it May this year, and then I wasn't sure about the show. And then, like I said, my friends were backing me up. They go, come on, Sasha, don't be embarrassed. The show is still there. You can activate it whenever you want to activate it. And I thought, you know what? That is my passion and my love. And then I thought, I might not have a film crew. I might not have hair extensions or have all the extra. But I thought, you know what? This is me. You either love me or you leave me. That's what I say to everyone. So I thought, you know what? The one thing they can't take away from me is my mobile phone. So what I got was, so what I thought was, you know what? I found a way to have, like we're doing today, where I can have the guest on the show and there's a split screen and we can share our truths on the show like that. So I discovered Skype. I thought, okay, we've got it. Okay, start filming. So that's what got me back into it. So, and now I'm just moving forward and I'm just allowing and I'm trusting, and I find that everything is just flowing so much easier for me. Guests are coming on board the show. It's interview after interview. And I have, of course, my private life things going on behind there that are challenging at the moment. So, yeah, it's the way I see things. And also I feel within myself, it's my faith. I believe so much. And the more I let go when I ask, whether it's God, whatever you want to call your universe, I do have a lot of faith. And I put it out there and I pray. And I just think that that's making my journey a lot easier. But once I do pray and release, it just happens a lot quicker and a lot faster. And I don't know if you've experienced, like lately, the last few weeks, I've experiencing so much of that. It's incredible. And I just let go even more and just trust and know, you know what, I'm going to be fine. And I'm going to do everything I love. And I am going to get my message across out there. And I'm going to be helping others on the way. So, yeah, it's been an incredible journey, put it that way.
You know, and you bring up a good point too, is, you know, a lot of people, I feel like, don't try or I don't want to say don't try. I say that they're afraid to follow their purpose and their passion because they're afraid to fail. You know, and I think that failing is part of the learning process.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, when you fail, as long as you get back up and keep going, you know, just you take that failure, you know, I don't even call it failure. I just call it your first attempt or maybe a second. It doesn't matter.
Try again. Keep trying. Oh my gosh, I've hit rock bottom 4 times in my life.
And I probably fallen a million. So I mean, but you know, the ideal is to, you know, you can't be afraid of the failures because that's where you learn. Yeah, if we wouldn't grow as people, as a human race, if we didn't experience the failures. Yeah, if everything was just, you know, successful, there would be no story behind anything. It's the failures, you know, it's the heartbreaks, it's the tragedies, it's those things that make us people, that build, you know.
But you know what? Also, I realized, as you have more failures, believe it or not, this is what I've experienced. Every failure after that gets easier and easier and easier to deal with. Because you know that failure is pushing you to something bigger and better. But at the time in the past, I never saw that. I'm seeing it now. And I think, oh my gosh, I've got this. I've got this. I've worked it out.
And the other
So,
thing too is the more times that you fail, the less you're worried about failing. You know what I mean?
yeah. you, know, you know what? I heard something at a seminar I went to a few weeks ago. An entrepreneur, very successful guy. He said, worst scenario, you lose everything. What do? You sleep at a friend's house on the couch.
Right.
So you're still not going to be out in the street. I mean, some people do end up in the street, but like, I don't know, I've learned through my experiences that every failure is made me stronger, and it's empowered me more to do what I love and not give up. And I
Right.
notice when I don't give up and do what I love, it becomes easier and easier and easier.
Right.
It's weird to explain unless you're in that position, but this is what I'm experiencing now. And I can only talk through my experiences. That's what I've lived by and what I do. So that's why, yeah, it's been an incredible journey, but it took me a lot, even to take another picture and to put a
Right.
selfie out. I mean, it's only a selfie, but my image, my look, my style, everything, it says who I am and represents me. So
Right.
it took a lot of guts for me to get back out there, but I'm glad I did,
Glad you
because
did too.
so yeah, and I keep meeting the most inspiring, empowering stories. And the guests I have on my show, to me, they're the true heroes of the world.
Exactly.
People, they're the true hero, and they're willing to share their truth with us. Like, I feel blessed and grateful to be in a position where I can meet these people. Like, I know with you, like, you're such a humble guy. I didn't know who Parks McGregor was. And as I'm learning you, I go, oh my God, what an amazing man. Like, who would think,
Right.
you're a person where you're willing to help anyone and do anything for everyone, which is amazing. And I thank you for being in my life.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad we met
Yeah.
because I mean, like I said, I think that you and I share a similar vision and and
Mm.
passion to help people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was thinking about that too. When we were talking about failures, I look at life as phases. You know what I mean? Like we go through certain phases in our life or chapters in our life.
Yeah.
Um, and then, and I talk to when I tell this to people all the time. You go through a certain phase, and I think there's three things that you um, are supposed to look for in each phase of your life. Either there's a lesson to learn. It may be a good lesson, maybe a bad lesson. There's a lesson to learn. There's an opportunity to be made.
Yes.
God's putting you in a specific place and time, and he's either when to teach you something, he's giving you an opportunity, and it could be something that to advance yourself, or it's to meet somebody.
Yeah.
I think those three things, and I think once you fulfill whatever of those three, or even maybe a combination of those three
Yeah.
that you meet, that's when God puts you to the next chapter.
Yeah, it's amazing to be in the position we are. And I don't know about you, but I've realized by meeting all these people and people that are coming into my life, I'm just in awe. I'm just in awe of
Yes.
everything that's going on. It's like, it's overwhelming, but it's so much love, so much passion, so much joy and happiness. I can see a bigger picture in humanity coming together. If
Right.
we all felt this way, oh my gosh, I think we'll throw the earth off its atmosphere.
I totally agree with that too.
It's just like,
Huh? Go ahead.
yeah, I just find that with me, I'm so full of energy. Like, I'm probably, Tony Robbins. He's like the. I think I'm a female version of him. I can keep talking. Like, my energy is so high, and
Right.
meanwhile, behind the scenes, there's so much going on in my life, as you know, and I can still smile and trust and believe and know that, what, I'm going to be okay either way, because this feeling I have doing what I'm doing is just mind blowing, mind blowing.
And I completely agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
even today, I had one of my guests reach out to me and send me something on IM, and it's just I'm amazed at the people that I've met and be able to become friends with
Yeah.
after. it's, so sitting down with the, with the guests for me, it's been more than just sitting down with somebody and that's it. That's,
Oh,
doing,
yeah.
that's it. What I'm finding is that every single person that I've sat down with, I've created a relationship with, a
Yeah,
friend
this is
with,
yeah.
and it's just, I don't know, some of the people that I've got to interview and become friends with, I'm amazed at. I'm like,
So, trust me. So,
yeah,
what I could actually, what I feel with the people that we're connecting with?
mhm,
I feel like they're actually brothers and sisters. Like we're
exactly,
actual. I can't explain it. Like I don't want to say too much because in the next couple of weeks I've got a guest that you interviewed too, an
right,
actress we should call,
right,
and just connecting with her and to be so open and honest, and I didn't even know who she was because
yeah,
I don't watch much television. And I told her, I go, to be honest with you, I said, I didn't even know you were not talking to this person that's so successful. I'm
right,
like, I'm still even blown up to think back months ago, I'd be talking to someone like that. Oh my gosh. And what I've realized the beauty of it all is, and this is
right.
mind blowing, is
And
we're all the
you can
same.
say, I mean,
We're all we're,
I've
we're
already
all the
released her.
same.
I've already
Yeah, like
released her interview, so you can say her name if you want to.
yeah, like I'll be interviewing her soon. People don't know, but it's Puja Mahindra. I hope I said it right, Mahindra.
Yeah,
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 yeah. Like, and you know what I realized? Like, people look up to celebrities, but you know what I
right,
realized? Let's look at everyone at the same level because we all are.
exactly,
And when you actually get to know them, you think, oh my God, they're just like us. Like,
exactly,
it's just a self-realization at that moment. You think, oh my gosh, you know what? I can't explain it. You've got to be, I suppose, in our position, and the people we're meeting are just incredible. And to see another side of that part of her, the
right,
celebrity side or the famous side, what a
right.
beautiful soul. Oh my gosh. Like I can't, yeah. I just feel like I'm really blessed. Every single day, I thank God every single day that I'm really blessed on where I am today. And I'm glad that I came back and I'm not
Right,
embarrassed and I'm straightforward. Any questions people want to ask me, I'm open. I have nothing to hide because I believe through my journey, people are
right,
going to find out who I am as well. And that, yeah, you know what? If I can do it, yeah, you can do it too. Come
right,
out, do what you love, take a risk. I still make mistakes, I still stumble, I still can't record proper
right,
video. Sometimes I think, why don't I just post? Why don't I just say? I thought, hey, keep it real. Did it? I did it. But I know that in time, talking more, taking our little snippets and everything, it would come better and better. It's just a leap of faith you've got to take and trust. And I think people are resonating more with keeping it real as well, as real as
right.
possible. So that's how I'm feeling, and that's my experience on this second comeback. My comeback, yeah. So it's good. I'm just really, really happy. But what have you been your struggles, Parks? What have you overcome? What's your biggest challenge in your life that you've overcome?
Well, I would say the biggest thing I had to overcome was I went into kidney failure,
Mm.
and so I was on dialysis for 2.5 years. So there was a period of time where I told you I was doing television and radio,
Mm.
and I want to say about 4 television shows and a very successful internet radio show. The internet radio show we had, and this is internet radio. It's not like it's before YouTube and all that,
Mm.
and we had 3 million listeners on our show.
My
And
goodness, that's
then
a lot.
yeah, and for internet radio, that was like amazing, Um, so, and the ironic thing is that the internet radio show was actually in LA. I'm in Texas. I've never been in LA. So to have a successful show, that was airing out of LA was like, that was awesome. And then I got sick. And once I, went into kidney failure, I kind of had to walk away from everything because I was so weak, and then, going on dialysis every other day for between 4 and 8 hours.
My
Just,
goodness.
it just drained the energy out of me. Um, but one of the things I wanted to do while I was in dialysis is I wanted to find a way to better myself, while sitting there in the dialysis chair for 4 to 8 hours. I didn't want to waste those hours. Uh,
My goodness.
so that's when I decided to go back to school. I was doing online school, and so one of my passions is law. So that's where I got my associate's degree. Then I got my kidney, and then I got my bachelor's in criminal justice. And it's probably the best thing I ever did, because once I came back to the workforce, I was making almost triple.
See how even that was a blessing? See, even
Right.
that was like at the time you don't see it, you can, it's how you deal with every situation in your life. Like always say, every situation there's a blessing out of it, even though you don't see it. Like you use it as a positive. You thought, you know what, I've got all these hours, I'm on dialysis, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And I'm, like you said, you wanted to better yourself.
Right.
So that says it all, seriously.
Yeah.
And now you've got your own show and soaring.
Right.
So where do you see your show going from here? Like you've got YouTube,
Right.
which is up and running. Where do you see your show going from here? What's your vision for your show?
Just to keep empowering people. That's my goal. Is I want to see what we're doing magnify, by hundreds.
Yeah, not going to scale.
Where it's inspiring people to just find their passions, find what your purpose is in life, and go for it. Don't be afraid. That's one of the things I really want to teach people is don't be afraid to go after your purpose, because your purpose isn't just for you. Your purpose is for everybody.
That's right.
Yeah. And so, and I tell this, say this all the time too. And people frown on the word servant, but I believe that we are all here to serve one another. I don't care what I don't care what vehicle you use to do that. If you're, I don't know, a photographer, a writer, an actor.
Everyone's got their own gift. Everyone's got their own uniqueness. Everyone's handed something to use. It's who's going to tune in, tap in to bring it out and live it in honesty, like actually live it and breathe it. And this is what we're doing. Yeah.
And then that's a vehicle to reach people, and then the other thing is too, and I had a friend on not too long ago. Her name's Michelle McIntyre. She's got a women's ministry, and she, hers is kind of the same thing. Is she's trying to get women to come out and share their stories, because she said that women feel like their stories don't matter, and for me, I think that every story, is important.
I agree.
Like what you're going through right now, the things that you're going through is going to help somebody later on. So not only are you learning lessons from it and it's teaching you, but by you sharing is going to help other people who are going through that. Yeah. And so, I truly believe that that's what really inspires and encourages people is people feel like that, especially now with the whole pandemic, and we've had this whole social distancing, and for you guys are still going through it. We've had it for like 2 years. We're just finally getting out of it, but and I think that that's part of what has caused a lot of people to go into depression and anxiety. Is because they've been separated from each other, and they don't understand as a human race how much we need each other.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I try to explain to people that your story is important, because not only has it is it there for you to learn from, but it's also there to help somebody else. So there's people out there that thinks that I'm alone, I'm by myself in this situation. That and they don't realize other people's been through that too, and they could tell you how they got through it. What helped them get through it, and then hopefully that'll help somebody who's currently going through it understand that, hey, look, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh
and if somebody else has gone through this and they can get through it, then I can do the same thing. And that's that to me, that's what's worth, what it's all worth it just for that.
I agree, Charlie. And also, what I found too, like the actual pandemic, I even find that a blessing, because it has brought a lot of people together as well. And it actually has brought people to think outside of the box by doing what they love and not get caught up in that 9 to 5, and you know what I mean? Take that leap of faith. You've got an opportunity now. I think again, it's a situation that we thought was devastating, but it's turned into a positive. So this is with everything in life. This is just another example of what we're going through. Like even me, like we talk quite a bit, and I told you my situation now, even to find work. And I don't like mentioning this, but being unvaxxed too has been very hard as well, because a lot of companies aren't taking vaccinated, unvaxxed people to work. So they're the challenges we've been faced here in Australia too. So it's been, very challenging. But you know what? I stuck by my guns. I believe what I believed in. I didn't give into it all. And now I got myself a job. I'm starting next week, which I'm really excited. And I didn't give into it. But again, it was trusting and believing. It was a bit of, it was a struggle for the time being. But then I didn't give up. And I think, look, I didn't give in to something that I didn't want to put in my body. It was my choice. And look now how it's turned around. But that little bit of patience, because I think the key thing is patience too. You've got to have a lot of patience. And it will turn out, and it will eventually turn to your favor. Sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you want it, but it will turn out. So you see that belief, that strong belief, you just got to keep believing.
And talking about the pandemic and all the stuff that that's going on, you guys have had it a lot worse than we have. I know that the restrictions and everything over there
I have to tell you, Pa, the situation with me. I have to tell you this, sorry to interrupt, but I felt like I was in a movie for a split, probably about a good 5 minutes. I was walking the streets, and at the time they said lockdown. You have to be you can't leave the house at 9 p.m. at night. You can't leave the house. And I remember they just announced there's going to be helicopters circling the areas. If you get caught, there's going to be fines, this and that. I was walking down the street. It was about 8:30 at night. Then I see this helicopter, and it had a big spotlight. It was shining down on me.
Wow.
I was talking to someone on the phone. I go, oh my God, I feel like I'm in the movie. They're following me, like the spotlight, Wow. And I was like, wow. I said, I can't believe this. And I was talking. I got home where I was staying at that time. And then I turned around because I had a sense someone's following me. And I had to look on the road, and it was the police. They're waiting for me to get in my house. And I looked at the time. I go, oh, my God, it's right on 9 o'clock. And I didn't even realize because I was talking. And they were waiting for me to go in the house. And I was like, oh, my gosh, It was tough for a while here.
There was people getting arrested, weren't they?
Yeah, a lot of things. Not wearing masks, out of your house by 9 p.m. at night. You weren't allowed. There were fines, not wearing masks. Like it got to a stage where it was, really tough. But again, it's how you look at it. Again, like, I just thought I made the most of it. I got more in tune with myself. And I realised, you know what, this is actually a blessing because it brought a lot of families together, because the time that we did have before 9 p.m, we'd all try and get together. You know what I mean? And it was like, so, and a lot of people are woken up through this experience as well. So it's, I just see everything as a blessing, and it's how you look at it again, So, it's all good.
Wow. So we keep hinting at some of the stuff that you've gone through. So let's talk about that. So what is some of the struggles that you've had to overcome?
My goodness, where do I start? This is something, oh my gosh, no one's asked me. I'm usually the one asking the questions. And the first time someone's asking me the questions, and this is what we discussed even before, and I'm going to be open. I said, oh my God, Parks, I'm not going to talk about my life. I don't even know where to start. But I suppose it's got to start somewhere. Like, I'll just give a really quick rundown. Just, I was born here in Sydney.
Okay.
I was, my both parents are Greek. They were born in Greece, came in their 20s. There's four of us, four children. I've got an older sister, a twin brother, and a younger brother. And down the track, I found out I had an older brother who was actually given up for adoption, which I found later in life. But there was four of us that grew up in the household at the time. So, and my parents, we were rich, we were poor, but we had everything we needed, but we didn't have beyond any of that. So what my parents did, they moved interstate. They moved to a place called Queensland. And back then, we grew up in a suburb. It was well, the Gold Coast, it's called. And back then there was Australians, all Australian there. Hardly any Europeans. I think not even 100 of us there. And back then, the so-called wogs, they called us. Whoever was European, they were called wogs. So we were the wogs of the Gold Coast. So we weren't embraced at all. We were bullied from kids. Yeah,
was that
and
like
I was
a
4 years.
derogatory name for you guys?
They called us wogs.
Yeah, but was that like a derogatory? Like it was like a way to put you guys down?
Oh, definitely. And listen to this. It got worse. Not only because we had the olive skin, we had the dark features. You could tell the difference. The Australians back then were more fair, blonde, blue eyes, and then you got us dark featured, coming into the scene. So we weren't welcomed in the neighborhood. We had our house egged. Like we'd come home, our house was full of eggs. One time they put a hose, they opened one of the windows, they put a hose in and flooded out the house because they turned the hose on. Then we had above ground pool back then, which they kept putting dirt in there. They kept going in the backyard. They didn't want us in the neighborhood at all.
Wow.
So that was hard because we grew up with that. And then at school we got bullied left, right and center. And to be honest with you, I even got bullied for my look because back then, being European, I had a little black upper lip, like a little hair on my
Right.
Thank God for laser then, but I got teased for having a moustache all my life.
Wow.
So it was tough. It was tough on us. It was tough on all my sister, my brothers. It was tough on us growing up there. But as we grew up, how can I say it? It was just everyday living. That's what we copped every day. It was like we just adjusted to it. And we had to learn to put up our walls and not, me personally, I just let it ride. I let it go. I didn't want trouble in my life. My sister was different. She handled it with punch-up fights with anyone that called us wogs.
Right.
So then, cut long story short, I had very strict parents too, like being Greek background, like they were very strict. So growing up was tough. It was very tough. You always felt not good enough. You never ever felt like you belonged. You always judged for your look. So, that was my upbringing. And then at 19, I decided to take a trip back to Sydney. I was working 2 jobs at the time, actually 3 jobs, because any excuse to go out, because we weren't allowed to go out at the time. My dad was so strict. So I used to work 3 jobs, and that was my outing, 2 nights a week at a restaurant, 1 restaurant on Saturday, and then Monday to Friday at this curtain place sewing curtains. Like, who would think?
Wow.
But hey, I made the most of the situation. And then at 19, I had enough. I thought there's got to be more to life than this, seriously. And I just wanted to get out of the house because my dad was so strict. I mean, they didn't know any better. I loved my parents. I really did. But they didn't know any better. They were very strict, especially on the girls. Like the boys were more free, but on the girls, it was harder on us. So I came to Sydney, stayed with my auntie and uncle at the time, of course, because I couldn't go on my own. I was 19. And everyone wanted to set me up with someone. It goes, oh, my God, you've got to get married. You've got to settle down. And I was only 19. What did I know about anything, Anyway, so they cut a long story short, I met this guy through my auntie and her friend, and he wanted to marry me within 3 months. I was engaged and married. I only knew the guy for really about 6 weeks. But I just wanted to get out. So I just took it. I just got married.
Wow.
I didn't know what I was doing.
After only 3 months?
Within 3 months, I was engaged and married. And the time I spent with him before I married him was only about 6 weeks before the wedding. And it was with my mum. We went to his place to stay because we had the engagement where I was living interstate. And then all the relatives flew to Sydney for the wedding because he wanted the wedding in Sydney. So he was 20, I was 19. There was 9 years gap. So I didn't know. I thought, okay, he absolutely adored me. But to be honest with you, I didn't know what love was at 19. I didn't know. To be honest, I just wanted to get out, I was in a situation where, and I thought that was my, being an end all of my life. I thought if I get out, I'll have my freedom, this and that, but boy, was life different.
Wow.
So Yeah, so I ended up being in a marriage for 19 and a half years where it was tough. It was hard.
Mm.
It was very hard because not only was he controlling, he was just, I don't know even what to say. This is a big thing for me to say.
Mm.
He was controlling. It was an abusive marriage. It was not only
Right.
abusive mentally, emotionally, it was physically as well and financially. So he just
Wow.
wanted me to stay home, work, have kids, be
Right.
oblivious to anything outside being a housewife. So
Right.
back then, it was pretty much sort of a standard sort of thing. Back then,
Right.
that's really going to show how old I am. But anyway, so it's all good. Like, I just believe I had to go through what I had to go through to be where I am today and to be able to share and relate to people on the show too with their trials and tribulations. I can relate to so many. So, cut
Right.
a long story short, after 19 and a half months, I had enough. I remember he had locked me in the laundry and didn't want me to go out. And I thought, I can't live like this anymore. So, I've got three children with him. I took the three kids, put them in a car, left, and never went back. That was it. That was the turning point of my life.
Wow.
Left everything, just took off. Yeah. But I wasn't on my own. I had three kids. Never worked
Right.
for 19 and a half years, had skills, never had nothing. So, yeah, just my life after that was, oh, I don't even know where to start. I think that could be another episode.
Wow.
So, so I brought you to half of my journey. The other half will probably be another show. Otherwise, we could be here all day. But yeah, I've gone through a lot. The only thing I suppose that I haven't gone through, like I say to everyone, is experience someone that's murdered someone or something close to me. That's the only thing I haven't experienced, but pretty much everything else I have, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, because yeah, I've talked to some, a couple of women who have been in an abusive relationship. You've got to do that for like 19 years. You know,
19 and a half.
well, how do you get out of that kind of relationship? I mean, after
Well,
when you're doing that for so long, I know a lot of people are I don't say that not afraid, but they're not. I don't think they're afraid of getting out of the relationship. They're just afraid of the change. You know what I mean?
uh,
They
in
want
my
out.
situation, it wasn't so much that. It was because he controlled me financially and I
Uh huh.
didn't have money. It was always by
Right.
card. Wherever you go, card, card, card. So you monitor it everywhere you go. So you
Right.
don't have, and and I wasn't street smart. I wasn't aware. I never paid bills. I never did anything. I was pretty much
Right.
stay home, cook, clean. Like he was a good provider. Don't get me wrong, and he's the
Uh,
father of my children. And I don't have nothing against him. I wish him all the best. I really do.
right.
But for me, I actually feed him as well. I actually feed him too. So there
Right.
was fear because I could never even look at him in the eyes. That's how scared I was.
Yeah.
To me, it was a fear factor as well. So yeah, it was a big thing.
Wow.
Sorry.
Sorry. I think we.
All right. Yeah. So to me, it was not so much. I was willing to make a change, but I was so scared of
Right.
him at the same time. What he would do to me. So
Right.
at that point, just before I left, I was really seriously thinking of taking my life. I
Wow.
couldn't handle being in the position I was. I felt like I was at wit's end, but at the same time, I had these three beautiful children. I thought, how could I do that to them? So I had to
Right.
really plan it really well when I left him. I had to
Right.
plan. I had to have some sort of a plan to escape. That's how
Right.
I felt, because I thought if he finds out, he I don't know, he'd take me, he'd kill me. He's already tried to take me once, had me in a headlock position, and I had a witness. Like there was a fear factor for me. It was a fear factor. Fear factor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So that was I can only talk through my experience, but then
Right.
when I did, and I don't even know how I had the guts. I just had a discussion with him, said, you know what, it's not working. I need time out. I'm just going to go to a hotel. It was a little cheap hotel just for a couple of days. It was a long weekend. I need
Right.
time to think. But he didn't know that I wasn't going to come back because I never
Right.
packed anything, nothing. I just was brought to a point where I thought, you know what, take the kids, put them in the car and go and don't
Right.
look back. And that's what I did. Yeah.
Wow. So was there one uh, um, specific moment that was like, that's it. This is the, you know, um, the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I mean? This
There
right
was
here.
actually quite a few.
Yeah.
There's actually quite a few, but the one that got me the most, there was another incident. I think that's a bit dramatic. I won't even put it on here. It's very, like, I can't even explain it. Like, it was bad. But
Right.
the second one was when he locked me in the laundry and he wouldn't let me out. That was a turning point for me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I've got to get out, you know?
Right.
So
It's not even a relationship. That's an hostage situation.
sorry?
That's not even like a relationship. That's a
No.
hostage situation.
I can't even explain it. The reason why everyone says, why did you last? Number one, I wasn't independent to do anything on my own. I was 19. He was 28. He took control of everything. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything better. So it was the fear factor of what was he going to do, you know, when he found me. Or, it was, I had a lot of fear. I feared him so much. I've never feared anyone before in my life. And I said that if I would ever leave him, I would never fear anything or anyone again in my life. And I took that oath when I left him. And I'm not scared of anything or anyone or anything. I face everything head on and I keep moving forward. So I've got to actually thank him because he's given me strength. And the journey I had back then, I was meant to go through it. It was a stage of my life. Like, I could have gotten out of it any time, but I wasn't aware. I wasn't awake. I was so isolated from the world. Like, I couldn't have friends. I couldn't, like, it was just his family. So everything was so, how can I say, so tight. Like, it was hard. And it was hard to reach out to anyone as well for help. And even my parents, my mum knew what was going on. And back then, the mentality, and it's sad to say the Greeks, it was like, oh, a Greek girl can't leave her husband. Oh, we're going to be ashamed. Our daughter separated, you know, like, so there was a shameful factor too. And my mum used to say, I remember, if you leave him, I'm going to die. I'm going to commit suicide. So I had a guilt feeling too of disgracing the family as well. So it was tough. It was tough. It was tough. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So any one of our audience who's struggling with with that type of situation, what advice would you give them?
You know what? Oh my gosh, what advice I give them. And this is the most empowering advice I could tell anyone. And Ali, I get emotional, sorry.
It's all right.
Because you know what? There's help out there. All you got to do is reach out. And you know what? There's so many support like groups and places to go to. All you got to do is ask, seriously. Like, I didn't even realize it until later on that there's so much help out there. And you know what? They're so willing to help you. It's incredible. I was blown away. Just reach out to anyone and everyone, you know. And even, for example, I can actually even say reach out to God. I can honestly say I'm living and breathing experience of this. To cut a long story short, it happened to me recently. I was walking down the street where I usually walk, where my the local shops are, and I said, God, you know, my situation at the moment, I would like it to change. And I was saying all these things, having it out with God and saying, you know, I could really use some help right now. And then lo and behold, I went to the park, sat down on the chair, and this lady comes out of nowhere within 5 minutes and sits next to me. And she goes, are you okay? I said, yeah, you know, life gets to you sometimes. She goes, how can I help you? I go, no, I'm okay. And we sort of said a little prayer. And then she sent me somewhere for the help and support that I needed at this moment. And I thought, oh, my God, it's always been there. It's always been there. So now I can actually say, through my experience, reach out. There's help. And you know what? They're more than happy to help you and guide you. It's incredible, incredible. I can't fathom how much help and support I've had, and it's only through my experiences. And even after interviewing Elizabeth Gerald, and her movement is an example of how we get together and we can help one another. And there's people you can reach out to. Do your research in the area, or even ask God for help and guidance, and He will bring you people on your path, and He will lead you the way. I'm just so blessed, and I can only speak through my experience, and that's what I'm experiencing at the moment. It's so powerful, beyond comprehension and measure. It's incredible.
And that goes back to what I was saying about, in your journey. Sometimes, it's that God has certain people that He's putting in your path.
That's right.
And there's a reason,
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes we get so wrapped up in the different situations that we're in that we don't look for the opportunities. We don't look for, the people that God has, in store for us, because
Right.
we're so wrapped up in
Yeah.
our circumstance.
It's about letting go, trusting that once you've asked, it can happen so fast. The more you surrender, this is what I've realized. Like the other day, I was on a bus and I go, God, I know I just started a job. I was so excited because I finally got a job and I don't have to take the injection, and I was really happy. I said, I would love to start on Monday because I've got a lot going on this week. And lo and behold, a couple of seconds later, I get an email from my boss, my new boss. He goes, by the way, Anastasia, these are, I get excited, sorry. These are your working hours. You start Monday. I go, oh my gosh, is that how fast it can happen?
Wow. Yeah,
I was like, wow, okay, thank you. So to me, it's about trusting, surrendering, letting go. And this is what I'm experiencing now. And that actually empowers me even more. The more I let go, the more I say, you know what? I know you got it. God, I know you got this. Thank you so much. And that's what's getting me through at the moment. And it's happening very fast, very fast.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, to me, it's incredible. And the fact that you start Monday, you have other issues that's a blessing that you're starting a job.
Yeah.
With the other issues that you got, I'll say issues, but struggles that you have, you're going through right now. So, it's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, okay, people say can't answer you, or again, be open, just trust and believe, let it go, and just know, like you said, you're going to miss those windows of opportunities if you're not open and trusting and letting go. And this is what I'm experiencing. And that's why I'm sharing all this with you guys out there in you parks, because this is my experience. This is what I'm living and breathing. And this is what empowers me. It's knowing my connection with God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in. I just believe there's one energy, and that force is within us. Because I know that when you breathe, and your life starts when you're born, it starts with the air we breathe in. It comes into our body, starts our heart. That's our God presence, essence, whatever you want to call that powerful energy. And it's living and breathing inside of us. It's incredible. And when we leave, it exits us. So we all go to that oneness, that embodiment that I call it. And this is why I share this with everyone, because that's who we are, that essence and presence. And this is why we're all one. And people can't see that, and some people can. But it will happen at the precise moment in time when you're ready. And then you start seeing these blessings and this magic happen. And it just keeps happening faster and faster and quicker and quicker. And you think, oh my God, why didn't I tap into this area?
Right.
So, yeah. And it's beautiful sharing it, because when you tell someone else, they go, oh, wow, is that how easy it is? And then they start experimenting. They think, oh my gosh, yeah, it is that easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So to me, it's inspiring too. When you think about it, when you're going through something like that, and you start, realizing that, as human beings, that you don't control everything. You can't control everything, and that's why that you have to give it up and start trusting God. To be able to take that thing over. You know what I mean? Because
actually take it over, and just let him go. Because remember, it says like he doesn't want us to suffer. He wants us he wants us to live an abundant and prosperous life. And if you allow him, he will deliver. And this is what's happening. And this is the surrendering. And don't how can I say it? Like, it always turns out differently to what you think. And then when it does, you go, oh my God, I get it. Oh, it's even better than I could ever imagine. So like you said, it's really, really surrendering and just trusting, and then, you know what? I know you got me. I know you got me. It's all going to be fine. Yeah.
Right. And, you just brought up a good point too, is that, a lot of people pray and they expect a certain outcome. And sometimes that outcome doesn't come out the way they anticipated, but they still have to understand God is always working everything out for our good. He knows the big picture. He knows the big picture. And all we can see is, today, what are we facing today? He knows the overall big picture. So he knows how to handle, our
Yeah.
situations. And so when, when that situation, when he resolves it and helps us, and it doesn't come out the way we expected, there's a reason it came out that way, because he knows the overall big picture and how that fits
Well,
into the full story.
yeah. Well, this situation now with overseas, when production company is going to take over my show, it was
Right,
actually a blessing in disguise. They said
right.
to me, no shot, no vaccine, no show. And no
Wow.
shot, no travel. And I
Mm,
looked at myself and you know, I'm not against the vaccination for anyone. If anyone wants to take it, I have no problems. But it's
right,
just me. Like, I don't like putting anything foreign in my body. I look after myself. So to
right,
me, I just don't want to do it. So
right.
I actually gave it all up. So, and I lost everything as well.
Yeah,
So I won't go because I wanted to be true to myself. I didn't want to do it at the time. I didn't want to do it. And I still don't want to do it. So then I thought, you know what? Anastasia, you had all your eggs laid in one basket.
right,
Obviously, it wasn't meant to be. Okay,
right,
let it go and work around what you have now. So at first, I was a little bit shocked. It took me a couple of days because this was 3.5 years in the making waiting for this.
right,
So then they actually delivered the news, and I was like, wow, I can't do it. I'm sorry. So
right,
that's when I stepped back. A couple of days of, getting it out of my system. At the end of the day, we are human. So I dealt with it, and then I thought, you know what, Sasha, get it back up on your feet, do what you have to do, do it your terms now, your way, and just trust. It'll
right,
happen. One way or another, it'll happen. And it's happening.
right.
It's happening really fast. I've already got 5 episodes up. This is my 6th. So, and
Yeah,
I'm doing it on my terms. I'm doing it on
right,
my terms. All right, it might not be on a grander scale, but to me,
right,
it is a grander scale because I'm reaching more people. It's not,
right,
through social media, I'm using it for good. So to
right,
me, it's a win-win, and I'm
right.
doing what I love. So yeah.
And that's I look at it the same way. Um, the people that that this is reaching out to, um, I think that it's really touching people's lives. It's really,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
inspiring and encouraging people. And to me, that's more important than the numbers.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
everybody, the
yeah.
numbers and, and I get that, when you do this, if you're going to do it full time, all that stuff's important. But the reason I'm doing it is because I truly want to see a change in people's life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something that, and I truly believe in people. You know,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
I believe that you were created. I say this all the time. On my show, that you are uniquely created with a purpose. I truly believe that. God created you with a purpose, and that purpose is to share it with other people. And
Yeah.
if there's anything I could do to help you find and discover that purpose and follow that purpose, that's more important to me. Anyway,
Uh,
so
I I agree totally with you all the way. Like, I know that since I've met you, we've shared each other's guests, and that we're more freely and openly to send people their way because we know that the more we spread the love and
right,
the light and the unity and the peace and the truth and the stories, it sets us all free and it brings us all together. Because at the moment on earth, what's happening? There is segregation, the
right,
separation. And this is what they're trying to instill in people, instill
yeah,
fear, where we are coming together to bring love and to bring that
right,
connection with humanity. And it's just like I always say, like, I'm just mind boggled how everything is happening so fast, so quickly, and
mhm,
how all of us are coming together. And the beauty of it is that there's no selfishness, there's no greed, there's no
right,
nothing. It's like you've got the same show, I've got the same show. We could have head bust and thought, no way, I'm not going to be able to. No, we're
right,
not like that. We're thinking, come on, we've got to get it out there. The more
right,
we can bring people on board, the more we can share our interviews, and the more it goes out there to the thousands, the middle, whatever. Even if it goes out to 10, it doesn't matter. We're still putting it out there. And the beauty of it is we're doing it with love and passion. We're giving up our time that we're choosing to give up. And I don't even think it's giving up our time. It's just doing what we love, full stop. And
right,
we're doing good to the world. And I don't know, I just love it. I can't explain it. I do it with so
right.
much love and passion. So, yeah. And I'm sorry about the P. I forgot the S in the parks on the little snippet. I
Not a
have to
problem at
mention
all.
it to everyone. I don't know how to edit it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have to send
Yeah,
parks a message.
I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even notice it. It's not a big deal.
I was shocked when you go, And so I didn't even notice. I thought, I've got to tell him, I thought, oh my God, I left that. Yeah, so we're human. We make mistakes. And you know what I think? I go,
Yeah.
it is what it is. You know what? If people are going to judge me for that, oh, so
Right.
be it. I'm not going to sit and stress out about it. But I do own up. I do own up to when I do something and I don't do it intentionally, I do own up to it. So, and I think that's another thing too that people have got to own up to as well, is what does happen in their life. They've got to actually stand up and think, okay, this is what's happening too in my life. Like, I've got to see it for what it is. Now, what am I going to do with it? So,
Right.
and I think
You brought up, I think, a good point too, is that like when we were talking, and we had like kind of the similar shows. Um, I don't look at it as a threat because the way I see it is that you're sharing the same message, and you have people that you're reaching that I may never reach, and I see that, like you said, I want this to be a movement, and that doesn't mean like it all has to come through my show. I mean,
yeah,
when I say I
exactly.
want it to be a movement, I want it to be something that grows and other people do the same thing, because
That's it.
the people out there, wherever they're, that's doing it, they're running into people that I'll never be able to run to. There's billions of
Mm,
people on this planet. You know what I mean?
that's
That,
right. And,
that's a
and you
billion
know what the
different
most
people.
yeah, and you know what the most powerful thing is of the universe? I've discovered sharing the knowledge of the universe, not
Yes.
hold back.
Right.
I believe that is very, very powerful. Like, share knowledge as
Right.
much as you know, help one another, share, don't hold back.
Right.
Not only does it empower them, it empowers us. Like,
Right.
yeah, I just think there's enough for everyone. And at the end of the day, there's enough for everyone. At the end of the day, too, I found that even with you, what you do, you've got your own uniqueness, your own style. I've got my own uniqueness, my own style. The way
Right.
I interview a guest is different to the way you interview the guest.
Right.
I might do some shows that are longer, some short shows that are shorter. It
Right.
depends. You just got to go with the flow.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be in our lives, and I'm glad I get to share it with the most incredible people on the planet at the moment. It's
Right.
just amazing. It really is. And for me to come out and share a little bit of my truth is a big thing. And Parks, I've got to hand it to you. You did it.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it takes a lot for me because I don't like speaking about me, and I don't like it being
Right.
about me. I can't stand it. But then again, being who I am, I think it is time for me to do
Right.
share a little bit of my life so people can understand why I do what I do. And it
Right.
comes from to help others in any way, shape, or form I can. I will do anything. So
Right.
that's why I created my platform and my show,
Right.
is because of my life experiences.
Right. Hey, and I'm glad you did share, because, like I said, there's all the other people who see in this show, that what you've gone through is going to reach somebody.
Mm.
Your story is going to reach somebody. You know,
Mm.
um, so like I said, it's there was lessons that you had to learn through it,
Oh yeah.
but in the big scheme of things, there's so many people who are going to be inspired, encouraged, you know,
Mm.
who are who is currently in that position that you
Yeah.
were in. And by
Yeah.
you sharing that story, that's going to actually reach them, and it's going to help
Mm.
them. And
Mm.
that right there is, I think, is what's worth it all.
It sure is. Even your story, the way that you were suffering and the dialysis, the way you used that negative where everyone else would have, you said, you know what, I'm going to better myself. And this is what it's all about. This is what life
Right.
is. And sharing, forgiveness, knowledge, like this. Oh my gosh, it's just when you get to the place where we're at, where we're loving what we're doing and
Right.
the people we're meeting, it empowers you and inspires you more to be who you are.
Right.
And it lifts you up. And I've also realised too, you've got to watch who you surround yourself with and who you have in your circle as well. And that plays a big role in your life as well.
One of the things I tell my kids all the time is that it's very important the people that you surround yourself with, because the people that you surround yourself with, if they're negative people, you're going to be negative. You're going to have the same attitude, the same beliefs as the people that you hang around with. And that's why it's very important to, I want to say, be picky. Be picky.
Yeah, but that's okay. You know what? We got choices. We got
Right.
choices. Yeah.
Right. Be intentional. Be intentional with the people that you call your friends. You know, um, and I try to do. There's people that I have as acquaintances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That but but then but there's people that that I have as friends, and the people that I have as friends are people that I know not only believe in what I'm doing, but will hold me accountable for what I'm doing.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
and to me, that's extremely important.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just find that like I've got a mixture of people around me now, like and I can see that's why I brought it up, where I think being you can see the difference. One of them is going to support you in what you do, and the others don't, or vice versa, or whatever. And I just feel like you get a choice and you get to choose. So
Right.
choose wisely, because every choice you make, there's a reaction. So do you
Right.
want it to be a good reaction, a good outcome, or do you want it to be just settle for less, or what you're not worthy and deserving of? And you know what? We're brought here in this lifetime to be worthy and deserving of the best and nothing but the best, you
Right.
know? And this is what I've realized, because I always was a giver and always sacrificed everything and never gave back to me. And I think that's why my whole life up until now was the way it was, because I never put myself first. And I don't mean it in a selfish way. I thought,
Right.
now I realize from the place I'm living and breathing now, I can do more good than what I can back then. So that's
Right.
why, yeah, I've realized in my life.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So, what are some of the things that um, are your pet peeves, or some things that like triggered you?
to be to be honest with you, because I've gone through so much in my life, I've learned to let it go, really let
Right.
it go, and not allow anything, nothing gets to me. Like pretty much nothing. Like example, I'll give you a perfect example. It meant to happen this morning on the way to my friend's house. There was a lady, I got on the bus and I wore my most mildest perfume, mildest. Right? I've got my evening perfume, then I've got my day perfume. So I wore
Right.
this mild perfume, and she walked, I got off the bus and I walked past her, and it was funny because like anyone else who would have triggered, they would have turned around and said something to her, but I just don't let it get to me. She goes, "Oh my gosh, that perfume's so strong." I turned around and said to her, "Have a nice day." Like, wash,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
just because you don't know what they're going through or what
Right.
they just happened. So I just let go, and I always try and turn everything into a positive, no matter what anyone says, what everyone does. Nothing, yeah, no, I'm beyond all that now. I just think
Yeah.
that you don't know what that other person's going through at that time when they do say something. And remember, I believe it's always some reflection of what's going on in their life, the way
Right.
they are. So I just got to learn to, I've learned, not got to learn, I've learned now to be forgiving, to let go, and just
Right.
wish them the best. And that's how
Wow.
I deal with things. How do you deal with things? Do you have a pet peeve?
I do have a pet peeve. My
Sorry, my nose is running. It's so cold here.
Yeah, I know that's the other difference. Here in Texas, we're experiencing
Oh,
100 degree weather,
oh,
and
no,
you
it's
guys
cold
are
here.
like polar opposite. You guys, how
Yeah.
cold is it there?
Well, it's put it this way, it's the coldest winter in 30 years.
Wow. What's
So
the temperature right now?
let me have a look. I'm not quite sure, but my hands are like ice. Um, I can't see at the moment. I don't want to touch anything and we turn
Yeah,
off, so I'm not
that's right.
sure.
Do you
So
remember, you know what it was yesterday?
I'd say, but I think it's about 14 or 15
Wow.
degrees.
Right,
I
14.
mean, that's probably not cold to a lot of people, but for us, it's cold because it's a different cold this time round. So yeah.
Right. Right.
But anyway, so what triggers you off? Do you have any triggers?
Yeah. So the thing that gets me, and there's not a lot that gets me,
Yeah.
but one of the things that gets me is watching somebody treat somebody else bad.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, if I see, because a lot of the jobs I do, I'm always in a, I don't say always, but I'm typically in a management role,
Oh,
and
okay.
to see like other management people in management treat people that they're responsible for um, in a bad, in a negative or kind of a demeaning way, that bothers me because
Okay.
and I think that just in general, my role is that I want to treat people the way I want them to treat me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
And so
mm.
if I see somebody abusing another person, um, I'm the person I'll say something about it.
Yeah, well, you know what? So you should.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I find that like where I'm at in my life at this present moment, um,
Right.
and I'm living in my own energy, my own space in the sense of knowing who I am and going really within, I find that I see less and less of that. I see all just beautiful things happening. I don't know
Right.
if you've come up like when I'm on this mission, this purpose and this path that I've
Right.
chosen, I just found that there's nothing I have to deal with or worry outside of this beautiful world that I'm living in. It's really weird how it's really happening. It's
Right.
just, I don't know if you're experiencing that. There's
I mean,
less and less of,
you don't run into that often, you know,
yeah,
but I've seen it in, um,
yeah, yeah, because you're in the workforce. So, yeah,
yeah.
so it's a little bit, but I just found that those experiences are diminishing out of my life. It's really
Right.
weird. I can't explain it. It's like
Wow.
I'm seeing a place where there's happiness, there's joy, there's another side of life that it was like, wow, where was it all this time? All I had to do is tune in and tap into it, and I didn't even know how. And
Right.
now I do. So it's a blessing. Yeah.
Wow. What is it? What is your vision moving forward with your show, and some of the things that you um, have planned, moving forward?
Keep the show going, that's for sure, and the guests keep coming
Uh,
on.
right.
Because sometimes every week you think, all right, I don't have a guest, and then all of a sudden, bang, 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 you've got 2, 3 guests waiting to be on the
Right.
show. So um, to keep it running, my ideal vision is to have it like a show on YouTube where I can actually interact with the people watching the show,
Right. Right.
and I can actually answer questions from the comments that they ask, not only me, but the guests I have on the show as well. I don't know how that
Right.
happens. That's the next stage of the Verkos Show, and have it 5 days a week where it's an open channel. It's actually a show on YouTube where it
Right.
actually feels like a show, and we're engaging in more of the world, because sometimes people don't have television. If you get on a network, say, sometimes, things happen. So if I could do it on YouTube and have the and Facebook as well, if I can do it both live and interact with the guests and ask and get the audience to ask questions to the guest and me, that would be my ultimate, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's what
because
we've been working at too. Yeah.
yeah, and we discussed this before, and when you told me, I go, oh my gosh, we've got the same goals, but it's
Right.
beautiful because we're engaging in more people and we're reaching more people. And
Right.
eventually I would like to take the Verkos Show global, where you can travel different countries, intervene with that. You can actually, like you said, meet and connect with the people that are
Right.
watching you. Like you can say,
Right.
oh my God, or I say, like, example, I've got a big following in Greece. By the way, hi Greece, love you guys. I love the world. Don't get offended. I love you all. But if I say I'm going to Greece, oh my gosh, they're going to bombard me there. They're going to say, come here, come here. And that's
Wow.
beautiful because that's bringing us all together,
Right.
And the mission and purpose behind all what I do is that I want to help the homeless.
Mm.
And I've got a mission to help orphanages too around the world,
Wow.
because my mum was an orphan, and she grew up in an orphanage, and I've been homeless myself.
Right.
So, and I know I can connect with those two really strongly. So that's the highest mission and purpose of my show, is to connect and make it happen, and make it happen through us as humans and
Right.
human beings coming together in different places of the world, and us doing it ourselves, you know,
Right.
and make it happen. Like I interviewed Ricky Herrera. He has swag in Australia. You can see our episode on the Verkos Show. He started Swag Salvation with Almighty God, and he was homeless three times in his life. And the poor guy, he actually helps the homeless now, and he's self-funded, and he gets a community together to make the meals, and he doesn't even have to ask them; they're willing to help.
Right.
And and I loved it, and I thought, oh my gosh, now this is how God brings in all the contacts for you. I see the bigger picture now, and this
Right.
is what brings us together, is by helping one another. So
Right.
when I saw his mission and purpose, I'm going, oh my gosh, this is incredible. It's like, yeah, and And bringing communities together is what brings us together. And this is my mission and purpose, is to bring us together in a different way through community building and knowing one another. And you'll experience that now with all your guests and my guests. Like, we're all coming together to do a purpose in all different movements, which is, I love it.
Right.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah.
So let me ask you, is, outside of the show, is there like a charity or an organization that, that's something that's like close to your heart, something that you really believe in?
Yes, the homeless with swag,
Right.
Ricky Herrera, what he's doing, very
Right.
close, because I can see how my future goal and vision of helping the homeless globally,
Right.
I can see it through him, and I would give, because that is incredible. And also in Newtown here in Sydney, there is a community where they help people that are trying to get their lives on path, are looking for work, are looking for a home, are struggling. Oh my gosh, the work that they do is incredible. It's Newtown neighbourhood. And
Right.
they're incredible. They're the people that I would give so much to, because I actually physically see what they do for others.
Right.
And I would give with all my heart,
Right.
and yeah, and eventually, I don't know where it's going to fit in. I know God's got the bigger plan for the orphanages, but I know everything else is falling into place with homeless and everything else. Is just the orphanages is a big passion of mine globally. Yeah, to
Wow.
get children into good homes. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's really awesome. Yeah,
It's a big mission. It's a big mission,
yeah,
but
I
I
was saying
believe it's going to happen. I'll
so
make it happen one way or another.
yeah, and it will
Yeah,
happen
go.
too. I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
think that creating platforms like this opens up opportunities for them.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the more that your show grows and your audience grows, and they understand that being your passion, that they're going to be more on board to help see you get that, make that a reality. You know what I mean? And
It's so true. And you know what? Unless we had this conversation today, people aren't going to know.
right,
People wouldn't have
exactly,
known. So thank you. It's been a blessing, that you
right.
brought out all this in me that, that's been in here that only I know. So
Right.
that's been good. Yeah.
I'm glad you're sharing it. So, and
How random. Who would think all this would happen in such a short period of time?
right, right. So for me, my passion is with the community. So I grew up in a poor community. I grew up in the projects, and even though I've left and been able to better myself, I lived when I grew up in a family where that was the cycle. I mean, my parents, my mom lived there until she met my stepdad. But it was kind of a cycle that, for our family we had several of our family members living um, in a poor community. So like in community, public housing.
Wow.
And so even though I left, my heart still goes out to that community, because that's where I was born and raised. You know what I mean? And in my mind, that's still, I want to see people from the community be able to better themselves and get out of poverty. And so I told you that I went to school to go to get my paralegal and then my bachelor's degree. After I got my bachelor's degree, I actually started law school. And then I actually left law school. I was doing very well in law school, but I left it because one of the things I started learning about law is that law really isn't about justice. It's who can argue the best. And so it kind of discouraged me. So when Mike Brown here in the United States, the whole issue of Mike Brown being shot with the police, I decided that to start a company called Access Tactical Solutions, where we're building body cameras. So we created a state of the art body camera, and our body camera we're able to remotely activate it. So when the dispatcher, when they're assigning that police officer a call on the call, they're simultaneously turn on the camera for the officer, so the officer doesn't have control of the camera, and that way it's making sure that every interaction with the public is being recorded, and that's to protect both the officer and the people in the community.
Oh, how good is that?
And then some of the other things that we put on there, and part of this is we sat down with law enforcement and asked them what they wanted on a camera as well, because a lot of these officers want the camera because it helps protect them to show when a situation happens. So I put a distress signal on there so they can actually push a distress signal. We put a GPS because here in the United States, the only way you know where the officer is the GPS is in the car, but the officer is away from the car chasing somebody. You don't know where that officer is. So we put a GPS on it, and then we have an accelerometer so that when that officer puts the camera on the beginning of the day, it calibrates its upright position. And it says this is what the position I should be in during the day. If it deviates 60 degrees for 5 seconds, it can automatically sense that officer's in trouble if they're being attacked, and it'll automatically put a distress out.
Saving lives again.
Right? So now here in the United States, there's two sides to that. With these police shootings, you got the side with the police, but you also have the community. The community's got to be responsible for their actions with the police, the same as the police have to be responsible for their actions, how they're treating the community. So, like you're talking about with creating an orphanage, one of the things I want to do with the community side, I have a outreach program called Driven, and it's the second part of my company. So Access is basically two parts, one for the law enforcement with the camera, the other part is for the community. And I want to be able to create community centers where people from the community, a lot of these kids think the only ways out of these bad neighborhoods is either through rap music or through athletics. I want them to understand there's so many fields out there. There's so many fields. There's engineering. There's code development. Developing code and be able to do software. There's so many other avenues, and I think too the best people to police a community is the people who was born and raised in that community. Because they grew up there, they know everybody there. So I want I want to have a program that encourages the people in the community to become police officers, become doctors, become lawyers, become judges. The best way to change and reform a justice system is to be a part of it. And then also I want to be able to encourage entrepreneurs. So people who want to create their own businesses in the community, I want them to be able to, come to us with their ideals, and us being big enough as a company where we can fund and, give people that startup that they need, because I think the people in that
rewarding.
Community,
it's so rewarding when you can live your dream and you can accomplish it. And sometimes you might not see which way it's going to go. Like I know with me, like I didn't know how I was going to do this connection with the homeless and everything. And then all of a sudden, Ricky Herrera pops up and he does this. I go, oh my gosh. And he's already been doing it for 10 years. So if I say, all right, Ricky, let's take it to another state, or let's take it to another, he'll know exactly what. So it happens when you least expect it. But you've got to have patience, and then people just come, it's amazing.
Right. And to me, I think that as you build, help people create their own businesses, then they have more invested in a city to want to really see that city grow. So the more people I can help, to start businesses, I think that'll help the economy in some of these low income areas. And the ideal of that is to see low income areas, the poverty, those areas shrink.
And it will happen.
So that people are more successful, and and help them get out of their situation. Some of the people, I think, just feel like they're hopeless. They don't have.
Yeah, I think they just give a little that hope, that little
Right.
glance, that little thing of thinking, you know what, come on, because sometimes you
Right.
just need that one person, that one person to say something, and it can change your whole life.
Right.
Because what changed my whole life around when years ago when I was struggling in another situation, I remember one lady came up to me. She goes, "You're always crying. You're in this relationship. You're always crying. This, and that." And
Right.
I looked at her. She goes, "Ask and you shall receive," she
Right.
said to me. And she walked off. And I turned around and go, "Where's she gone?"
Wow.
Like I couldn't see her. What does she mean by ask and you shall receive? I'm going. Then when I actually took that advice on board and I found out what it actually meant, I was like really, yeah. So it see that just that example alone changed my whole world.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's what
yeah,
sometimes you just need. That you need somebody who just believes in you.
yeah,
That could just help spark that belief in you. In
yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
And just putting that goes back to we're talking about surrounding yourself with the right people too. You know,
mm,
and being open to meet new people, because
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
that's um, like one of the biggest things
Trust,
I've been learning
yeah. Because a lot of
is
people don't trust these days. A lot of people
right,
don't have that trust, and that's what I realized too. But I always say, again, with my prayer, I always say, thank you, God, for the beautiful people in my life that are, are honest, loyal, trustworthy, are
right,
passionate, creative, gifted, talented, are on the same path as me, and how we can help one another. And I find that the more you're in that presence and that energy, the more that it just comes to you. It
right,
comes to you. And the less and less you see of anything outside that. Because at the end of the day, we're not here to change everyone, because not everyone wants to change.
right,
So it's about just living and leading by example, live and breathe it, who you are, and that essence and presence is enough to impact another. That's what I've realized.
yeah,
Yeah,
excellent. So
yeah. I don't believe I'm not here to change anyone. I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm just here to
right,
live being me and live and lead by example for who I am and what I do. And at the end of the day, if it encourages someone to do the same, or someone like, let me sidetrack a little bit back. I just feel like whoever comes in my energy or my presence, I just
right,
love them walking away feeling happy and feeling excited about life. And, no matter what's going on in their life, because a lot of people say, oh my God, so much is going on in your life and you're still smiling, you're still happy. And you think, like, does it ever get to you? I go, I'm beyond all that now.
right, right,
So, and they pick up on that energy and the joy and the happiness and the thing, and then they go, oh my gosh. And I just want everyone to be happy and to find their bliss within themselves, and
right,
to find that empowerment deep within themselves, that passion, that drive, the creativity, that's everything, and know that, what, I can do it, and that's it, you know?
right.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've been learning too with the show is um, being able to share resources. So a
Oh,
lot of
yeah,
the
big
people
time.
that
Yeah.
that we bring in, and the stories that they're telling, and the journeys that they're sharing, um, I want to be able to use that as a resource to help other people who are looking at getting into whatever field, or are going through something, and they just need that person that that's gone through it to give them advice. Um,
Mm.
you know, and we're talking about Elizabeth Gerald. Um,
Mm.
that was probably the toughest. Well, I would say it was the toughest interview
It
I ever
was.
had to go. That I've ever done,
Mm.
because her um, story, her journey, and the things that she's gone through is just
Oh. And to think that she's
yeah,
still standing and she's
right,
using all that.
right,
I can't even fathom it, seriously, what she's gone through. But to use it to do good
right,
she's a remarkable woman. I can't, like I always say, they're the heroes of the world. To me, they're
right,
the heroes of the world. I could only aspire to be like the woman she is. And they're the people that inspire me to keep going, It's like, I'm just in awe with her because losing the husband, the son-in-law, her daughter, and then to start a movement. And then it's just like, who has that strength to keep going after all she's endured? Like,
right.
It's
Yeah, and
incredible.
that's what I say.
Yeah.
She's gone through so much, and yeah, she's such an amazing person.
Yeah.
And so for me, I want to be able to help use my resources to
Yeah.
help
That's what you're
her.
doing with her. Yeah.
Yeah, to help her,
I-
to get her foundation up and running. It's the MJG
Movement.
Foundation.
Yeah. Yeah. When I heard you tell me that, when you messaged me, I go, oh my God, what a man. What a man. Seriously.
Right,
I'm realizing your character more and more. And this is what we're about. It's like, this is how we're going to all come together as one, because
right,
that circle of coming together as one gets smaller and smaller when the more we come together. It's just mind boggling. It's, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
That just in a part is going to just go like this. Yeah.
yep.
It's incredible. Yeah.
And to me, I love seeing people be successful.
So do I. Yeah.
Just
Happy, successful, and living their dreams and their passions and their loves, and most of all to me is happiness, to actually see that happiness and the joy in that
right,
person, like, because that reflects you as well, being in their presence. That makes me happy when I see people
right.
happy, but genuinely happy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why all my guests that that I've had on there, I kind of still follow, and every success that they've had, that I've seen, I want to I try to cheer them on because I want to see them be successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's encouraging. Every
And
time they post something up and they're successful, I'm like, that's it's awesome to watch them.
the beauty of it is, this is what I love. We're all still in contact with each other, no matter
Like,
how busy we are. We always have that time out with everyone we're meeting. Like, I was blown away. Like, Pooja for one, like, we couldn't get off the phone. Like, I'm thinking, oh my
right?
gosh,
That's another
beautiful.
amazing person. She is so.
You would,
I
like,
love
you
her.
would,
She's
I
amazing.
can't get over it. Like, she goes, oh, we've got to talk, So, yeah, so it's the joy. And this is what, it's a beautiful place to be in our lives. And it's a beautiful time to be on earth at the moment too, because
Right,
these changes are happening because nothing's ever worked in the past. There's
right,
always separation, wars, religion, culture, background, like colors, or none of that exists at the end of the day. None of that exists. We're all one, and this is what's happening. We've been asking for this, and we've woken up to the movement that's happening now, and that's why all this is happening on Earth now, is to bring us all together. It's beautiful. It's
right.
beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm going to introduce you to Michael McGlone, but he's been an amazing person too. He's the
Mm-hmm.
actor that that I just interviewed. My last episode actually. Who's This guy's been he's done so many big movies here in the United States, and I'm amazed that he was even on the show. Honestly, for somebody of his caliber to come on my show, I was like, but he's such a humble guy.
I
And
love it when they're humble. Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't like we just did the interview and that was it. He sent me something today. He IM'd me today. And like I said, it's like meeting these people. The people we've met. I felt like we're making real friendships with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
They're different friendships,
right,
because I feel like now they're on the same mission and purpose as me, and
exactly.
it's just bringing so much joy to all of us. Like, I know sometimes we text each other little things and we get so excited. You see my messages, I'm like, yeah, even the most smallest thing, but it's like all these exciting little things, and everyone would think, is she for real? Like, everyone's looking at
Right,
me. She goes, she's only on social media. She's only doing this. She's only doing that. Why she's so happy? Like, but they don't get the picture. And now connecting with people like-minded, they're getting the picture. And it's just,
right.
they're feeling your excitement, your joy, your happiness. It's incredible. Yeah, it's a good place.
And like people like Michael and Pooja. I feel like they are truly interested and really are
They're genuine. They're real.
and excited about what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to have people like that, and then not because that's what everybody. There's another guy that I interviewed that once he gets back from Germany, he's filming right now. His name's Tony Taylor. I'm going to introduce you to him too. He's an actor as well. This guy, like from the get go, I mean, just he once he gets back, he's actually going to take over my show for one day, and he's going to
That should be good.
yeah, he's going to interview me, like
Oh,
like a
okay.
full on interview. Yeah, I mean, so I'm looking forward to him. But he's like, he's another one of those guys, just such a humble person,
Mm.
and he's been almost from the beginning, of my show, just been out there, just cheering me on, and just, it's just people like that you run into is just amazing,
It
So
is. It's. We're just blessed and we're grateful that we chose our passion, our
right,
love for what we do, and we're putting it out there. And we've got a platform to do it. Social media, like your mobile
right,
phone, like that's unfortunately that's life now. It's most of us are on our phones, so we're blessed that we've woken up to the fact that we can use it for good. And
right,
that's all I say to everyone. You can everything in life really. You can either use it for good or bad. It's the choice is
right,
yours. So yeah, and we're choosing to do it for good, and it's rewarding. And the people get to meet and the connections, and then what we get to do with it too, which is good. So I'm really blessed and grateful for the place I'm at the moment, and starting up my show again has been, yeah, it's
yeah,
been really good. And I got to thank everyone out there for watching me, supporting me, commenting, liking, and everything. Because if it wasn't for them, like and all the
right,
guests, everyone, the world, pretty much.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and I felt the same way. I'm blessed every time somebody decides that they want to subscribe to the show. Because it tells me that we're on the right path. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then hopefully for me, there's people out there that's really learning something.
Oh, they
Getting,
definitely will be. They definitely will be. Yeah, definitely. Like I sometimes just go with your shows, like I listen to them and that, and I think, wow,
right.
um, yeah, no, you definitely are. Trust me, so
So,
it's
and
all
that's
good.
that's it. I mean, it's as long as I know that these interviews are making an impact and changing people's
Mm.
lives. That's
Well, just look at it this way. Like you started, I don't know how long you've been doing it. I just started. I don't even think I've got 100 subscribers on YouTube, but that doesn't bother me because
right,
I just think that even if they come on my show, they don't even look at that. Like no one looks at that. They just know that okay, um, she has a concept and I like it and I just want to be on it and I want to be part of that journey, which is incredible. And sometimes it just takes that one comment someone might say.
right,
I don't know about you, but someone randomly out of the blue, like whether people comment or not, it's
right,
up to them. Like I'm fine with that. I'm okay with it. But it takes
right.
that one comment sometimes. I don't know about you, and someone will say something positive and it just sparks you up and he just wants you to go raring. So this is what our show is doing to others. So even if it's that one comment, you think, oh my
Right.
God, they're listening and they got moved. So how good is that? So I get
Yeah.
excited with stuff like that too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Whenever somebody's comments and they tell you something that that they got from the show,
Yeah.
that's makes it worth it.
It
It
makes,
makes it worth
yeah, it just makes it so rewarding that you think, oh my God, I can't explain it. I get overwhelmed. It's the smallest thing, but to me, it's
right.
everything. Yeah, yeah.
Well, cool. So
All right. Did you
um,
want to finish off for me?
I was gonna say so we both got these shows. What's the best way for people to reach you? What's the best media or
Um,
social media platforms?
Facebook.
Mhm.
I've got Anastasia Verkos, the angel of Facebook. I've got my the Verkos Show on Facebook. I've got TikTok, the Verkos Show. I've got Instagram, the Verkos Show, and another page, Anastasia Verkos. I think they're the main ones you can contact me on at this present moment. So yeah. And how can they contact you, Parks?
And so I use Facebook. Just look at Park McGregor. It's a pretty unique name, so I should just pop up. And then YouTube is Crossman Product. If you go to Crossman Product, that's where the new YouTube channel is. So those are the two. I use Instagram,
Okay.
but I don't know what the handle is. I have to go look it up and then I'll post it at the bottom.
Also, you know what else is good? I'll just share it with you. LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn too, the Verkos Show.
Oh yeah,
And that's good.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
LinkedIn too. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and I do the same thing. I post on LinkedIn as well.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah, and what I'll do too is I'll make sure I put all of the different platforms that we're on. We'll put it at the bottom of this interview so that you go in and visit, and then again, when you guys go in, subscribe, to our channel and hit the notification button. Those are the two things that's important. And I really, try to kind of iterate this with my audience, just to subscribe and to subscribe, um, for both our channels. That what that does is that allows us to hit once you hit 1,000 subscribers, that allows us to be able to go live. Well, it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours.
Okay, that's interesting to know. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to. So it's important that you guys hit the subscribe button, because that helps us. But also, and I know some of my videos are really long, and I apologize. I have no restriction. I like it. And I don't really want to apologize for that, because each of the guests I have on there, their stories are important. And
that's right.
Even though they may be long, I think you're going to learn something from each of them.
Yeah.
So I don't have restrictions, when I bring a guest.
Yeah, either do I. Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, I don't have restrictions. However it's meant to go, it will take,
Right. Because you want that person to be able to share their story, and I want them to be able to do it in a way that they're comfortable, in their own words, and without the restriction of have to watch a clock. Because what they've gone through, I don't want to minimize. I don't want to minimize.
That's beautiful. Good on you, man. That's so good. It makes sense. Yeah, because some of mine can be long, some can be short, and then I get all these people saying, "Oh, that was too long. That was too this," and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm not listening to anyone else. I'm doing what makes me happy and the guest happy, and that's it. So some people are going to like it, some people aren't. Some people are going to listen to it, some people won't. So it is what it is.
Right, and I think too that if you take the time to listen to it, and for all the reasons we've talked about, through this whole thing, each of these people, have gone through these certain journeys, and I really believe that if you listen to the whole interview, even if it is long, that you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something, and it's going to inspire and encourage you. And honestly, you're going to devote time to things that you find is important, anyways. And if you're not watching our show,
just like everything, right? If you really want to, you will. Yes.
So I agree. So I say that because I don't want to apologize for how long they are, but it is important that you watch them through, because you have to have the 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. We're pretty close to hitting our goal.
Good on you.
So, and the whole purpose of that, and the whole reason I say that is because, just like you, we want to be able to do this show live, and that's the requirement from YouTube, for us to do the show live. And then whenever I bring in people, I want the audience to be able to come in and ask questions too. And feel like they're really interacting with our guest.
Yes.
So you're not just watching a pre-recorded show. As the guest is talking, you can actually, and you're learning something from them. You have a question, they're right there. You can ask them.
Exactly. And the beauty of it is too, it's unscripted and keeping it real.
Exactly.
So it's the truth. So
and the other thing too, it's a resource. I have actors that I've interviewed who are up and coming, and they're doing these different shows trying to become an actor. Then I have somebody like, Pooja and Michael, who are professionals. This is opportunity for, some of the guys who are trying to get to that level, to actually get online, and be able to talk to somebody who's already been there and done that, and be able to ask them questions like, So anyways, that's, a long way to say, when you see our videos, watch them all the way through, because it really helps us to be able to hit that target that we need in order for us to do this stuff live, so that we could share, not only share this with more people, but give you a chance to interact with our guests as well.
So true. That's our dream. So it's amazing, and it will happen. It will happen. as soon as they subscribe to our channel
Right.
and press the notification button,
Exactly.
we're on a good roll, man. They'll get us live. They can have us and ask us questions all they like.
Right. So yeah, exactly. So I start off the show. I'm gonna let you end the show.
Sorry?
I said I started off the show, so I'm gonna let you end the show.
Okay, then. I thank you with all my heart, Parks. I really, really enjoyed this moment with you and the time you've given me, and to actually be able to mention my story, like actually be able to speak about it, because that takes a lot for me. I thank you for bringing that out of me. And also, I wish you all the best with your show and our relationship to continue forever as friends and help one another. I'm really appreciating that. So I'll sign off now. So we're signing off for now from the Talk Show Angel at the Verkos Show. Bye.
All right, cool. And you guys remember, you are uniquely designed with a purpose, and always keep moving forward.
All right. Sending love to everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys. Peace.